Initially, I didn't want to buy Space Marine 2, thought it is just another Warhammer 40k game that's only hooking me for a very short time and gets boring quite quickly. Let's make it clear, for a brief time I thought Space Marine 2 will be just very similar to Darktide, a collection of a few multiplayer maps and you'll be grinding through the same scenario over and over again, kill hordes of enemies and repeat. I mean, paying €60 for a game nowadays has to be thought through very well. I was about to be proved wrong when I got an offer I couldn't deny. No, this video is not sponsored and I still had to pay money for the game. At first glance, Space Marine 2 feels like it's just another action-packed Warhammer 40k game, something you would dive into for a few hours, enjoy the chaos and then quickly forget. But there's so much more beneath the surface. The game hooked me with its brutal and satisfying combat right from the start, giving you a well-designed introduction to the gameplay, telling you the story of your character, making you think, hey, I want to know more. For everyone who does not know what a Space Marine is and what you should be doing, here's a very brief and very simplified overview. You play as a genetically enhanced super soldier in a far future, slicing through endless hordes of Tyranids with a chainsword or blasting them apart with a bolter. It's an experience that pulls you into the heart of the battlefield. Each encounter feels intense, with your heart pumping when you're outnumbered, outgunned, and still come out victorious. The universe of Warhammer 40k is not really for the soft-hearted though. I mean, you basically play as a soldier for special operations in an army of space Nazis, killing everything that is, well, Xeno, with a strong religious focus based on the God Emperor. Will you see the God Emperor, you ask? Usually not. He's sitting on his golden throne on Earth and being not much more than a half-dead corpse to worship, and a psionic beacon keeping this galactic empire together. I wonder what you would say if you had a text-to-speech device. The story of the universe is intense, huge and obscure. You always want to dive deeper into this rabbit hole, but this might be the topic for another video. The graphics are capturing the dark, gritty atmosphere of Warhammer 40k universe perfectly. The environments feel massive and oppressive, and every swing of your weapon looks and feels impactful. Special moves for executions give you the small, brutal, victorious feeling when defeating that one enemy pestering you. The sound design complements this perfectly, from the roar of gunfire to the satisfying crunch of an enemy meeting your chainsword. For die-hard Warhammer fans, the game is packed with lore and nods to the universe, but even if you don't know much about Warhammer 40k, it doesn't really matter. The game is accessible and enjoyable to newcomers, offering pure action and carnage without the need to understand every small detail of the lore, and that's important nowadays. The cutscenes are very well placed, advancing the story in between missions without feeling too intrusive, giving you just enough time to catch your breath before jumping back into the action. Missions are of decent length, requiring you to spend time mastering each one. It's not a game you can just casually play for 10 minutes, it demands your full attention and it rewards you for it. So you might be asking, what are we playing for? Space Marine 2 has an interesting campaign, at least interesting for me, and that's what I've been missing in many Warhammer games in the past. A story I can follow, a purpose for my existence in the game. In addition to the missions of the campaign, you'll be having so-called operations. These are basically missions that are being run by the second team of the planet, meaning assistance is not just happening off screen out of nowhere. No, you get to play and experience their point of view. If you want to play with your friends, by the way, you can. The campaign and operations support co-op multiplayer, and even on easiest mode you could use some assistance at times. If you don't have any friends, you can play with bots, though they are sometimes as dumb as a piece of bread. As a reward for those operations, you'll be gaining skins which can be equipped in the armory, and for every type of Warhammer 40k fan, you'll find your favorite chapter of the Astartes you can run around as. The game is not over though, once you've finished all the operations and the story campaign. If you're up to PvP, you can visit the Eternal War, challenging your skills in 6 versus 6 matches between the Astartes and the Chaos Astartes. Personally, I'm happy Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 did not go down the road of just dumping you onto the battlefield with nothing else. I'm happy about the way of storytelling through cutscenes and dialogues, even though there are not really any options available. If it was just a plain multiplayer game, or you will, let's say, have to find the story somewhere hidden in the game, I would just lose interest in a couple of minutes. So good job, Saber Interactive, interactive and focused entertainment. Only thing I might criticize is that the game in parts sometimes feels like a World War Z reskin, might be due to the engine the game is based on. Apart from that, the game is good, and now for some reason I want to get my Warhammer miniatures and start working on them again. I might need to visit a games workshop nearby and buy some paints. They're always just so incredibly expensive.